What's good, YouTube? Gunner here, and today I've got a deck profile for you guys on the Saga of Blue Eyes White Dragon Structure deck. And then check out my channel for more Yu-Gi-Oh content. Alright, so here I got a 3x structure deck build on Saga of Blue Eyes White Dragon. So every card in here you can get from the Saga of Blue Eyes White Dragon structure deck. You know, you buy 3 of them, you can have all these cards. So if you guys, got 30 to 40 bucks lying around and you want to build yourself a decent Blue Eyes White Dragon deck, you can definitely pick up 3 of these structure decks and make a competitive deck. Yeah, so there's definitely budget, and if that's what you're into, keep watching, and I hope you enjoy. Alright, so let's get into this. Alright, so we're going to start out with 3 copies of the Blue Eyes White Dragon. This legendary dragon is a powerful engine of destruction, virtually invincible. Very few have faced this awesome creature and lived to tell the tale. This is definitely the staple of a Blue Eyes White Dragon deck. It's named after it. It really is a legendary card. So it's got 3,000 attack, 2,500 defense, and it's definitely a powerful card. Alright, so then I got 3 copies of Maiden with Eyes of Blue. It's a 1-star spellcaster tuner. This is definitely a really good card. So what this card does is when it's targeted for an attack, you can negate the attack and change the battle position of this card. Then you can special summon 1 Blue Eyes White Dragon from your hand, deck, or graveyard. So that's really powerful, because obviously somebody's attacking Maiden with Eyes of Blue. She'll negate the attack, switch to defense mode, and then bring out a Blue Eyes White Dragon. So that's crazy. And then she also has a second effect where during either player's turn, when a card or effect is activated that targets this face-up card, except during the damage step, you can special summon a Blue Eyes White Dragon from your hand, deck, or graveyard. And then you can only use 1 Maiden with the Eyes of Blue effect per turn, and only once that turn. So you can only use one of the effects that one turn. So, this is definitely a good card because, you could actually use the effect of Sage with the Eyes of Blue. That card, unfortunately, doesn't come in the structure deck. But if you get your hands on it, a good combo is to use Sage with the Eyes of Blue's effect to target her, send it to the graveyard, and then you can bring out 2 Blue Eyes White Dragons, because the effect of her brings out 1, and the effect of Sage brings out 1. So that's really a good combo. But yeah, otherwise, that's a really, really good card, and it's definitely a staple. And then I got 3 copies of the White Stone of Legend. It's also a 1-star dragon tuner, so that'll come into play later on in the video. So that's why I would play 3 of these. So what this card does is when this card is sent to the graveyard, you can add a Blue Eyes White Dragon from your deck to your hand. So that's by any means. It doesn't have to be destroyed. It can be sent, it could be destroyed. It could be sent from your hand to the graveyard or from the deck to the graveyard, and it'll automatically bring out a Blue Eyes White Dragon. So that's really good. Alright, and then I play 3 copies of Alexandrite Dragon. Straight vanilla card, a 4-star dragon. It's 2,000 attack, 100 defense. Really good card. Yeah, so that's definitely easy to go into Azure Eyes later on in the video. Then I played 3 copies of Shining Angel. This is definitely a good card because it's a 4-star light monster. So what this card does is when this card is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, you can special summon 1 light monster with 1,500 attack from your deck and face-up attack position. So if that's the card that you have in your hand and you don't have like a Maiden or an Alexandrite, you can bring him out, get him destroyed, and then he can bring out a Maiden. So you can special summon a Maiden, and then if your opponent decides to attack, boom, you'll negate it, and then you can bring out a Blue Eyes. So that's definitely a super good way to bring out Blue Eyes. Okay, and then I got 2 copies of Honest. Right now, currently in the ban list, Honest is at semi-limited, so that means you can play 2 in your deck. So if it happens to go to 1, then you only play 1. But right now, you play 2 Honest. This is definitely a really good card. You can also bring it out with Shining Angel if you want. So what this card does is during your main phase, you can return this card from the field to the hand. So that's really good. And then also what a lot of people use it for is during either player's damage step, when a light monster you control battles, you can send this card from your hand to the graveyard, and then that monster gains the attack equal to the attack of the opponent's monster it's battling until the end phase. So let's say you have, let's say you have Alexandrite Dragon on the field, and your opponent brings out, a Blue Eyes, for instance, and then he attacks you. You can use Honest. You'll pitch Honest from your hand to the graveyard. Then Alexandrite Dragon gets the 3,000 attack from Blue Eyes, so then he becomes 5,000 attack, and then destroys that Blue Eyes. So that's pretty sick, and definitely a really good card. All right, so then I play 1 copy of Flame Veil Guard. This is really just it's a 1-star tuner dragon type. Definitely the reason I play it is for to easily bring out Azure Eyes, the extra deck monster that comes in the structure deck. And then it also has 2,000 defense, so that's really strong. So I mean, if you want to run more than one, you're definitely more than welcome to. So it's a really good card. And then I run 1 copy of Divine Dragon. I'm not even gonna attempt its last name, so I'm just gonna go with Divine Dragon. And this is a 4-star dragon type. I'm only running 1. I've seen other deck profiles where they run 2, but for me, I really only just want 1. So what this card does is once per turn, you can discard 1 card and then target a dragon type monster in your graveyard and add that target to your hand. Really good. If you want to run 2 or 3 even, if you want, you can definitely do that. But for me, I just run 1. And then I run 1 copy of Rider of the Stormwinds. I've seen some deck profiles run this card, and then I've seen a majority of them not run it. I like it because it's a 1-star dragon tuner. And then I actually really like its effect. So what it does is you can target 1 dragon type normal monster you control, equip this card from your hand or side of the field to that target, right? So that's really good. And then also what it does is if a monster equipped with this card attacks a defense position monster, inflict piercing damage to your opponent. So that's really good because all you're doing is equipping your dragon card with it, your dragon normal, so preferably your Blue Eyes, and then it gets piercing damage, which is great. Who doesn't like piercing damage? And then also its second effect is what really attracted me to this card. Is so if a monster equipped with this card would be destroyed, you destroy this card instead. So if your Blue Eyes was to get destroyed by any means, you can destroy Rider of the Stormwinds instead. So that's why I really like this card. Okay, so that's going to be it for the monsters in the deck. Alright, let's put that to the side and let's start going with the spell cards. Alright, so I'm running 3 copies of Silver's Cry. It's a quick play spell card, really good. So what this card does is you can target 1 dragon type normal monster in your graveyard and special summon it. So that's it. That's all it does, and that's awesome. Because you can pitch a Blue Eyes to the grave, via, Dragon Shrine or whatever card you use to get a Blue Eyes in the graveyard. You can quick play Silver's Cry and get a Blue Eyes. And then you could also, if you wanted, let's say you had a Blue Eyes in the grave, wait till your opponent's battle phase. When he attacks, you quick play Silver's Cry, and you can bring up Blue Eyes. So that's really good. Alright, so then I run 2 copies of Dragon Shrine. This is a really good card. Think about Foolish Burial, but for dragons. And this thing sends 2 dragons. So, what this thing does is you send 1 dragon type monster from your deck to the graveyard. Then if that monster in the graveyard is a dragon type normal monster, you can send 1 dragon type monster from your deck to the graveyard. So you're basically pitching 2 dragons. Excuse me. So a good combo to play with the Dragon Shrine is if you play Dragon Shrine, you can pitch Blue Eyes White Dragon to the graveyard, and then you could then pitch the White Stone of Legend to the graveyard, and then with the effect of White Stone Legend, you can get a Blue Eyes from your deck to your hand, right? And then let's say if you got a Dragon, a Silver's Cry in your hand, you can play Silver's Cry and then pull that Blue Eyes from the grave and bring them out. And then you can, I don't know, then you could play like a Maiden, summon a Maiden, and then you're good for another Blue Eyes if they decide to attack it. So that's really good. All right, so then I play 2 copies of Card of Consonance. I was definitely conflicted to run 3, but there were definitely cards I really wanted in this deck, so I decided to only run 2. So in this deck, you've got 6 targets for Card of Consonance. So what it does is you discard 1 Dragon type tuner monster with 1,000 or less attack to draw 2 cards. So since you got 6 targets, you could, if you wanted, run 3 Card of Consonance. But for me, like I said, 2 is fine for me. Alright? So that's definitely a really good card. Then I run 2 copies of Stamping Destruction. I've seen people run 1 copy, but I realized in the deck, these are the only cards that pop back row. So that's why I'm running 2. You could run 3 if you wanted, but I felt 2 was pretty good. So basically what it does, if you control a Dragon type monster, target 1 spell trap card on the field and you destroy that target. And if you do, inflict 500 points of damage to its controller. So that's definitely really good. You can pop, a back row of your opponents, and then he'll lose 500 attack point. 500 life points. So that's really good, Then I run 1 copy of Swords of Revealing Light. You could run 2. I just run 1. So yeah, that's basically why I do it. If you guys don't know what Swords of Revealing Light does, you'll play it, and then it flips over all monsters your opponent controls that are face down, and then your opponent can't attack for 3 turns. Yeah, so that's basically it. Alright, then for me, I run 1 copy of Enemy Controller. I've seen other videos where they don't even run Enemy Controller. I think it's a really good card. If you have nothing out on your field and you have an Enemy Controller in your hand, your opponent attack you directly with a monster, you play Enemy Controller and you can switch it to defense mode, and that basically stops it. And then it also has a second effect where if you tribute 1 monster, then you can target one face-up monster your opponent controls and take control of that target until the end phase. So that's definitely really good. You could, if you got a weaker monster, you could Enemy Controller your opponent's card, take it, and then tribute their monster off for another, yeah, so, there's definitely different things that you can do with an Enemy Controller. I like it. That's why I'm running it. And then I run 1 copy for 1-for-1. 1 copy of 1-for-1, sorry. Yeah, I would have probably run either 2 or 3 in the deck if it wasn't limited to 1. So yeah, that's the only reason I'm running only 1 copy. But basically what it does is you send 1 monster from your hand to the graveyard, and then you can special summon 1 level 1 monster from your hand or deck. So basically pitch a card, and then you can get any like 1-star tuners like your Maiden or your White Stone of Legend, whatever you wanted to get. Alright, okay, so that's it for the spell cards. Okay, and then we're gonna go to the trap cards. I run 3 copies of Fiendish Chain. This is, for me, a really good trap card. So what this continuous trap card does is you activate this card by targeting 1 effect monster on the field. Its effects are negated. Also, it cannot attack. So when it's destroyed, this card is destroyed. So that's really good because, most cards in the game now are all effect monsters. Not many people run vanilla monsters anymore. So, that's why for me, it's really powerful. Then I run 3 copies of Call the Haunted. excuse me, you could run, you know, 1 or 2 if you wanted. I like 3 just because, you know, whatever's in the graveyard, I can go back and get. So that's basically it. Then I run 1 copy of Champion's Vigilance. This card's really good because it's a counter trap. And so what it does is if you control a level 7 or higher normal monster, when a monster would be summoned or spell trap card is activated, you can negate the summon or activation, and if you do, destroy that card. Really, really good if you can get that off. And then last but not least, well, it is least anyway, I run 1 copy of Compulsory Evacuation Device. Like I said, I would probably run 2 at least in this deck. Probably, well, either 2 or 3. If you're playing casually and your friends don't care about ban lists, you're good. You can put 3 of these in there, in the deck. But right now you just play 1 because it is limited in the ban list. So what it does, you target a monster on the field and you return that card to the hand. Really powerful. That's why it's only limited at 1. Really, really good card. Alright, so that's it for the trap cards. And then let's move on to the extra deck that was provided. And it's 3 copies of Azure Eyes Silver Dragon. This card is really, really good. It's a 2500 attack, 3000 defense, so just the opposite of a Blue Eyes White Dragon. So it's really easy to bring out this card. It's a 9-star dragon. All you got to do is find a way to bring out a Blue Eyes, which is pretty easy in this deck, and then get a tuner, you know, Maiden, or, you know, Flamevale Guard, or what other one do I have? Ride of the Stormwinds, you know, anything like that, and you'll be able to bring out Azure Eyes. So it's definitely, they made it really easy to bring them out. So yeah, like I said, 1 tuner and 1 or more non-tuner type normal monsters. All right, so what this card does is when this card is special summoned, dragon type monsters you currently control cannot be targeted or destroyed by card effects. Excuse me. That's, you know, it's so basically when you bring them out, every dragon you have on the field is immune to anything. Well, it cannot be targeted or destroyed by card effect. Yeah, so it's basically immune to whatever. So that's awesome. And then its second effect is really, really what makes it really good, is because once per turn during your standby phase, you can target 1 normal monster in your graveyard and special summon it. So when you synchro summon for this card, if you're using Blue Eyes and a tuner, you'll send them both to the graveyard, bring out Azure Eyes, and then on your next standby phase, you can bring out that Blue Eyes from the graveyard. That's crazy. That's awesome. That's what makes this card really good. Like I say, you could play 2, you could play 3 if you want, you could play 1 if you want, you know, if you have other synchro monsters, whatever. But for this profile, you run 3 Azure Eyes Silver Dragons. Alright guys, so that's it for the deck profile. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, you can subscribe, and you can check out my channel for other deck profiles, or booster box openings, or pack openings, anything Yu-Gi-Oh related. I try my best to bring to the channel. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know if you guys want anything in particular, and I'll try my best to do it. So thank you so much, and have a good day, guys. Later.